How do you go from being a lifelong Democrat to being fully Republican in 2024 and voting Republican? Honestly, there's a lot here. I'm going to break it down for you, but I know these reasons are widespread. I'm not the only Democrat that switched to Republican, and the Democrats could probably learn something from listening to this. First of all, I was raised a Democrat, and growing up, I never really learned the Constitution. I'm going to be honest. I went to public school. We never did a deep dive on the Constitution. Therefore, we never fundamentally understood the genius of why things were put in place. And if anything, all you heard was, for example, if it was like the right to bear arms, Democrats and liberals would say something like, it's an outdated document, like we don't need arms anymore. That was back in the day. They have these kind of sayings that they put in your brain. So you're just brought up thinking like, well, we don't need that, instead of really deeply understanding why it was put there in place to begin with. And I'm not saying you agree with it or not, but it's like we should understand why deeply. Second thing is I became a mom in 2018, and anybody that turns into a mom knows that this completely transforms your world, what you think of the future, how you look at everything. You want things good, the security of the nation, the education system, the ability to get jobs, the ability for your future kids to afford things, for me to be able to afford things for them. And family becomes the focus of your life. And if I were to look at the two parties, Republicans are much more family oriented, fully family oriented, and the Democrats seem to not like family at all. They promote being single and gay more than they promote being family. And of course, being single is okay, being gay is okay, but I don't see any representation for the family. The next thing is my husband and I both suffered injuries after COVID. My husband's could have been fatal, and then mine took like 3 years for me to correct with like minerals and electrolytes and changing so much. I don't know what it did to me, but it depleted me. And I was watching liberal channels like CNN and reading the New York Times, which I will never watch or read those again because of this. And they were just filling it with all of this bad information. And if I would have had the right information that was being censored at the time, primarily from the Democratic Party, I would not have gotten that, and I would have saved me and my husband's health for years. Next is I became a Christian and God found me. And I am not the only one. There has definitely been this has been happening all over. You see it happening. This is, the greatest gift that could have happened to me. But once you start reading the Bible and once you really see what the Bible preaches and how much wisdom is in there and how they're trying to take that out of our culture and how everything in our culture is counter to the Bible, you start to really wonder what's going on. And so much of that is led by the liberal party, where the Bible and Christians are much more accepted and a part of the Republican Party. And then the Democratic Party, I mean, just as much as I like the policies from the Republicans, I equally am grumpy with the Democrats because I finally opened my eyes to the witch hunt they did with Trump. I see, because I watched the speeches that like Trump or JD Vance or any of these people, I watch the full speeches, and then I see how the left totally censors it or completely lies about it, how they talk down to everybody, how they try to make more call everybody a racist and they try to create more problems. And it's funny to me because people like the Democrats don't like Trump because they think he says things like says crazy. And I'm like, at least he's not lying through his teeth to us. At least he's not talking to us like we're all dumb idiots. He says what's on his mind. And I have become, through the course of basically being gaslit and lied to through like media and through the government and through anybody that's like a doctor or expert, I now love people that have no filter and just say what you like, because you know what you get with them. In a society where nobody can shoot you straight, nobody can say anything, everybody's worried about offending anybody, we don't know what's going on, everybody's moody, everybody's this, to have somebody that just says what's on his effing mind is so refreshing. And then I said this in another video, I also became a stay-at-home mom in 2018, so I was able to actually deeply understand issues. And if I wanted to do a deep dive, I could listen to long form conversations, I could listen to podcasts, I could read books. And once I started opening my eyes, I realized I was far more conservative than Democrat. And lastly, a lot of the things that Democrats or liberals kind of promote in their culture, like being an independent woman and feminism and not needing a man and you don't need a Bible and we're all atheists and we're all this, pretty much everything that I lived by with those was damaging and not helpful in life. And it took me until 38 years to realize that the best I feel are principles that are found more in the conservative party.
I'm glad she said it. All thing I said to this point, another one escapes the matrix. The only bad thing is now the Democrats going to turn on her. They got to call her a xenophobe, a bigot, homophobe, genderphobe, whatever phobe, because she decided to wake up and chose common sense instead of victimhood and delusion.